Hey everyone, this is James Rosile from Digital Charcuterie. Thanking you so much for joining me today to watch this video, to listen to me discuss one of my favorite things, which is Star Wars and Snoke. If you like Star Wars, superhero movies, movies in general, dramas, horrors, whatever, every Thursday I do Teenage Mutant Ninja Thursdays. Fridays is our Casual Friday show. All that, please give us a like and a subscribe. It helps us greatly on this channel. We're still young, we're new, and we are working our way up. And thank you to everybody that has taken the time to subscribe to this channel. It really, really means a lot to us. Let's get right into it. Let's talk Snoke. Now, a lot has been made about Snoke. I did a video last week before the release of The Last Jedi novelization. I'm currently in the midst of reading it. I'm fairly close to being done. It's a fantastic book. If you have not read The Last Jedi novelization, if you're not planning to because you absolutely hated the movie or whatnot, that's fine. But if you weren't going to read it because you don't like book, film adaptations, novels are usually not, they're not quite as good as what they could be. I would strongly suggest picking up The Last Jedi novelization. It is phenomenal. The first chapter will hook you, I promise you, and you will move on from there. But in that novelization, we learn a little bit more about Snoke. Not too much, but enough to know that he was not supposed to be the leader of the First Order. The Palpatine knew about him. But that's not what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about some other news that has hit us in the world of Star Wars, and this comes from EW. Andy Serkis says, this is right from the horse's mouth himself, Andy Serkis. He says, "We wanted him to have a great deal of mystery. Abrams and I, J.J. Abrams and himself, they discussed it, and Ryan Johnson and I discussed backstories to him, where he came from. I've been asked not to shed anything. Should we want to bring him back in any way, whether prequel or whatever." Interesting words from Andy Serkis. We know he's been vocal in the past about returning to Snoke, about playing Snoke, but it seems that the mystery surrounding this character was crucial. They felt, anyway, whether you did or not, that's a different story, because his death halfway through the movie really did piss a lot of people off. Not so much me. I was expecting his death. I predicted it about a week before. I was like, Snoke's going to bite the bullet in this one. That's how I felt. Now, the lack of a backstory for me takes away from that scene. The scene after that is one of my favorite Star Wars scenes ever. I'm on record as saying that. I love the Praetorian Guards. I love Kylo, Rey, and them duking it out. It's fantastic. It's fun. But Snoke himself, that death, it does take away. The backstory takes away. And I know a lot of people, but the Emperor didn't need a backstory. And my argument is, but it's different. It's a different situation. I've said this before. I'm not going to go back to it. But, with the original trilogies, there's no past. They're making it up on the spot, so we're learning about it there. Now there's a past. We know this past. So Snoke needs a backstory because we need to understand where he fits into everything, especially when someone like Luke mentions him by name and Leia mentions him by name and Han Solo acknowledges that he knows who Snoke is. So that's all important. But besides that, it looks like they're saving Snoke for something, be it a novel, comic, or, as Andy Serkis hints at, a prequel. Now, I would bank on the fact that Andy Serkis does not know that whether or not they plan on a Snoke film or not at this point in time. He, like JJ, might have been like, the conversation might have been, we might explore this down the road. And Serkis is like, yeah, well, give me a call. I'm down. Caesar's gone, and he's like, I'm down to do some work. So that's where I would say that one is in terms of what Andy Serkis is talking about. I think, he's been vocal about playing the character in maybe in 9, coming back, or playing him again. And why wouldn't he? It seems like he's having a lot of fun. He respects it. He understands it. He loves the process, obviously. He loves collaborating. I think that's one thing with Andy Serkis that everybody can agree on, is he is a collaborative actor. And that's probably why he'll never be... he'll never get recognized by the Academy Awards, because he collaborates. It's all a collaborative effort, which filmmaking as a whole is anyway. But that's a debate on for another day. So what I want to bring into this, though, is Simon Kinberg, a producer on Rebels, who wrote or was writing the Boba Fett standalone film. Word came out just recently, I think less than a week ago, that he is back to writing a new Star Wars standalone film. No one quite knows what this film is. Is it going to be Boba Fett again? Are they going to go back to that? They had Josh Trank hired, and then they fired him. They kind of swept it under the rug, and everybody's kind of I haven't forgotten about the Boba Fett film, but I think everybody's kind of moved on from it and accepted that it's not coming. So the question is, what is Simon Kinberg working on? And if it's not going to be Boba Fett, could it be Snoke? Is Simon Kinberg working on a Snoke standalone film, or a film that maybe teaches us about Snoke? The other option to this is Simon Kinberg was a producer on Rebels, just to tie this into Rebels. Not that I'm saying this is a Kinberg thing now, but what we're learning now is, spoiler if you have not seen the finale of Rebels, or if you don't watch Rebels, I would suggest watching it. The last episode, the last half of the last season is some of the best Star Wars you will see. But what happens is Ezra and Thrawn, if you don't know who they are, you got to watch the show. Ezra is a new Jedi Knight, and everybody's been questioning where he would go. And he's with Grand Admiral Thrawn from the EU books, and they brought him into this because Dave Filoni is a genius and understands Star Wars better than anybody. And he brought Thrawn in, and they take off into hyperspace. And they just leave. And they don't know where they're going. Could be the unknown regions. And what we learn about Thrawn in The Last Jedi novelization is that he was in the unknown regions. And he had some goings-on over there in the unknown regions. So one of the plays that could be made now on Snoke is, does he encounter Ezra? Does he encounter Thrawn? Thrawn also in the Thrawn novelization mentions a threat in the unknown regions. Does Snoke know of that threat? Does Snoke journey out to find what that threat is? Does Snoke want to learn that? Is Snoke smarter than Thrawn is the question. Because when The Force Awakens came out, nobody knew who the villain was. And if you read the Aftermath novel, at the very end there's a tease to a character playing chess, and everyone's like, is that Snoke? Is that Snoke? And is Snoke the new Thrawn? And if Snoke is the new Thrawn, it would make sense for him to want to go out there and want to find out what is out there. So does the new animated series teach us who Snoke is? Is that where we're going to learn who Snoke is? Or is there a film in there? I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think we're going to get a standalone Snoke film? Do you want a standalone Snoke film? Personally, I think Snoke has the potential to be a very, very interesting character. In this trilogy, he has now been struck down. He is gonzo, dead. Unless, of course, they decide he's not. But right now, let's say he's dead. For the sake of argument, we'll say he's dead, because I think there's another story where we can talk about maybe that was a force projection, because we've seen that now. Now, look, his body gets sliced in half, and he comes down, and his tongue's weighing out, and he's, X's over his eyes and whatnot. But for the sake of this, let's say he's gone. Does a prequel story for him enhance or diminish him as a character? For me, I need more information on him for it to enhance him as a character. But is a prequel the way to go for that? I'd much rather in Episode 9 we kind of learn something like Kylo Ren's perspective on it all. Because the thing that I think everybody's forgetting also is that we know from, I believe it's the Force Awakens novelization, that Snoke has been around Kylo since he was in Leia's womb, since he was in the womb. So striking him down this quickly is a fault at this point in time on the filmmakers of The Last Jedi. Rian Johnson, Kathleen Kennedy, everybody over at Lucasfilm. It is a fault right now. However, it might not be. If you bring him up back in 9 in a way, not him physically, but in a way where we get more of an understanding and we find out about how he got Kylo Ren, how he trained him and whatnot. Or a prequel movie. I would argue it has to be in the movies. And I suggested maybe they'll, in the animated series to come, we will get that. That's fine. But I think for Snoke to have a payoff, and even if the payoff is his death is the payoff, which is what I'm kind of believing it is that Snoke's death is the payoff, so that Kylo Ren can be the Renper, and that's fine. But you need something, like, I need to know why. We need to know why. He sees something in Kylo Ren. What does he see in Kylo Ren? And why was he there from the beginning? And how did he get there from the beginning? And how did Luke learn to trust him? And that's why I think it has to be in a movie, because, the movies make $1 billion. Rebels does not have 1 billion eyeballs on the animated shows on Disney XD on their streaming service won't have 1 billion eyeballs on it. It's got to be in a film. It has to be the tissue needs to feel like it is connected to the film universe. Like Rogue One. Rogue One feels like it's connected to A New Hope. But if Rogue One was on TV, animated, it wouldn't. Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. with the Marvel movies. They were trying to do it, and then they just kind of like segued away from it. And that's how I feel. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think about Snoke. Do you need to see more Snoke? Do you not want more Snoke? Or are you saying, just let Dave Filoni do whatever he wants? All right, guys, thanks so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.